Thanks to the developers at Secret Base and publishers at Modus Games, one of my favorite childhood beat-em-up franchises has risen from the retro ashes in the form of Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, and I'm excited to talk about this one because they took this beat-em-up formula and they put a little remix on it. So let's go ahead and get right into it. In Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, we start with 4 playable characters, that is Billy, Jimmy, Marion, and Matin, I hope I'm saying that right, who are pretty much making their way through an unruly New York City, trying to shut down various gangs who've pretty much arisen in chaos in the wake of some nuclear warfare that has torn the city apart. So it's up to the gang to use their hands and their feet, or in Marion's case, a bazooka, to bring order back to the city, to restore peace back to the city. Now, the story isn't anything crazy. It does have a little plot twist at the end that I won't spoil for you, and you'll honestly probably see it coming, but I did appreciate that it was there nonetheless. Now, there are 4 gangs to take down. Each leader of each gang serve as the boss fight for the end of each stage. Now, what is very interesting about Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons is they kind of avoid the pitfall of, what could be like a monotonous and repetitive beat 'em up, and they do that by introducing some roguelike mechanics that gave this game a surprising amount of variety that I really was not expecting. They let you complete each stage in any order, and depending on the order that you pick, this can actually affect the gameplay. So for example, on my first playthrough, I chose to do the Anubis stage first, and first playthrough wasn't that bad, got through the stage pretty easy, pretty quick. And then on my second playthrough, I did the Anubis stage last, and this made the stage open up to 3 different parts. I saw new rooms that I hadn't seen before, I saw new enemies that I hadn't seen before, and the final boss turned up on me. I won't spoil it, but it was different. It got harder. They were on my head out here, bro. It was real. It was real in the streets out there. So I appreciate this little mix-up that they did. I thought that was a really nice touch. Now, the stages themselves, I don't think they're really exceptional. They're pretty solid, but the roguelike elements give them a good amount of variety, design-wise and enemy-wise, since that's pretty much the main thing that changes depending on the order that you pick the stages in. And the variety also extends past, the stages and the enemies. It extends to the most important part of the game. That's the gameplay, in specific, throwing these hands out here. Now, Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons doesn't have the deepest combat system. You got your standard melee combos, you got your special moves. Some people have aerial attacks. You can pick up items off the floor and throw them at people. At least some characters can. And you have like a running attack. But the fun for me really comes in because every character really does fight different. Even Billy and Jimmy fight different. So Billy is really all about the kicks. Jimmy is about literally throwing these hands. Marion, as I said before, she's about blickies and bazookas. And Matin is the resident tank of the crew. He also has a shield. And what's really dope is that you can play with 2 different characters at the same time. You can swap between them. That will use the entirety of your special meter. But it's fun just kind of mixing and matching with each character style, so you can kind of see just who matches best, what's the best duo to pick for a certain situation, a certain stage. But it brings the element of teamwork, and I'm rocking with that. And also another roguelike element they added in Rise of the Dragons is at the completion, at the end of each stage, you can use the money that you've earned through the stage, or throughout the stage I should say, to purchase different power-ups and perks that stick with you throughout your current run. And the power-up choices will be random, but it kind of lets you create somewhat of a character build. And in a similar vein to a Hades, maybe not that deep, but just similar concept. And you also have the option to skip the upgrades and just get that money, so you can keep stacking this paper out here, because money is important in this game. The money can be used to revive you. If both of your characters, out here just catch these hands and y'all get beat to death and you need to revive yourself, it does cost a steep price. Or you can use the money to purchase tokens, which are also very important in this game, because the tokens help you unlock additional characters, which there are 13 of, I believe, in total in this game. And it can also be used to purchase music, artwork, and tips. You'll see other things in the shop that you can purchase with the tokens. And the tokens can also serve as your last lifeline in a run. So let's say, for example, you're too broke to pay for a revival. Instead of using the money, which you don't have, you have the option to bring yourself back with tokens. And that'll start you back at the last checkpoint of the stage that you were on. But if you don't want to use the tokens to revive yourself, you can just cash out with a little bit of pocket change you got left, but your run will end and you'll pretty much lose all your progress, so you got to start back at square one. So just keep that in mind. It just provides an additional challenge to the game, but I really enjoy these roguelike elements that were added to Double Dragon. It didn't feel like a gimmick. Like, I think they took the good elements of roguelikes and it really, to me, enhanced the experience overall. And I especially love just having all of these different characters to unlock. I haven't unlocked everybody, but so far the characters that I've unlocked, everybody plays different, everybody feels different. So I've been having a blast just kind of mixing and matching, trying to just figure out the best duo that I want to use. And aside from gameplay, Double Dragon, Gaiden, Rise of the Dragon has a really dope soundtrack. Some of these tracks I immediately recognized from Super Double Dragon on the SNES. They just kind of remixed them. So the soundtrack is nostalgic but modern at the same time, but it slaps nonetheless. Definitely gets the job done. Sound design, specifically the sound of when you hit people in this game, is so satisfying. The hits sound chunky, they sound full. Just listen, just take a listen to this real quick.
Well done. Take this.
Like, bro, when you are hitting people in this game, you really feel like you are hitting people in this game. I'm all about this sound design. This is A1 sound design. I'm definitely rocking with it. If I was to dock Double Dragon with any points, I'd say only having couch co-op and not online co-op is criminal, especially considering just how many different characters you can play with. Also, the art style, a little questionable. I don't have nothing against pixel art or chibi art, whatever you want to call this, but I don't know, just for Double Dragon in particular, this choice seemed a little, I don't know, it seemed a little weird. To be fair, like, it grew on me after a while. But I really wish they would have chosen another style. It's not really a game breaker for me. It's more of an aesthetic preference, but I don't know, it looks kind of weird. But after a while, you get kind of used to it. But I feel like they could have done a different art style. But all in all, man, Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons, it's a pretty solid beat 'em up on the Nintendo Switch. And while I don't think it's exceptional at any one thing, but I think it's really solid at everything it chose to do. And I think the roguelike elements gave it a unique feel that I enjoyed, and it kept me coming back. So I think what it set out to accomplish, it did accomplish. Just, not in an exceptional way, but it hit the mark. It hit the mark, maybe even jumped over the mark a little bit. I'll give him a little credit. It's above average. Not the greatest, but it's slightly above average. I really did enjoy the roguelike elements in this game. But that is all I have for today's review. If you've played Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons, let me know what you think of it. And if you haven't played it, let me know if you're considering buying it after listening to this review. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I will catch y'all on the next video.